Hello, friends, and welcome back to English Unlocked. Today, I want to talk to you about something many English learners quietly struggle with, but rarely talk about openly. If you understand English well, but feel nervous when you speak, this episode is for you. Maybe you know the words in your head, but when it's time to speak, your confidence disappears. Maybe you worry that your accent sounds wrong. Maybe you feel that people will judge you the moment you open your mouth. If this sounds familiar, let me tell you something important right away. You are not alone. Millions of people around the world feel exactly the same way. They believe their grammar is not good enough. They believe their pronunciation is weak. And because of this fear, they speak less and less. Sometimes, they stay silent even when they know exactly what they want to say. Today's episode exists to change one very powerful belief. So listen carefully. Your accent is not the real problem. Let me say that again, slowly and clearly. Your accent is not the problem. The real problem is the fear connected to it. From the very beginning of learning English, many people are taught that they must sound perfect. They are told that good English means sounding American or British. They listen to movies, YouTube videos, podcasts, and teachers. Then they compare themselves again and again. Every comparison makes them feel smaller. Every comparison slowly damages their confidence. Over time, this idea becomes very strong. Learners start believing that their accent means their English is bad. They start believing that mistakes are embarrassing. They start believing that confidence will come only after perfection. But this belief is completely wrong. And it is very harmful. English today is not owned by one country or one accent. English is a global language. It is spoken by millions of people who did not grow up speaking it. In fact, most English conversations in the world happen between non-native speakers. People from different countries use English to work, study, travel, and connect with each other. And guess what? They all speak with different accents. Yet communication still happens. Think about airports. Think about universities. Think about offices and online meetings. You will hear English spoken in many different ways. You will hear different rhythms, different sounds, and different styles. And still, people understand each other. So ask yourself this question. If English works perfectly between people with different accents, why do you feel that your accent is a problem? The answer is simple. You were trained to focus on perfection instead of communication. You were trained to focus on sounding correct instead of being clear. You were trained to judge yourself before anyone else does. When you believe your accent is a problem, your body reacts. Your voice becomes quieter. You start speaking too fast or too slow. You stop in the middle of sentences. Sometimes, you change your words because you feel afraid. Sometimes, you decide not to speak at all. This has nothing to do with your intelligence. It has nothing to do with your ability to learn languages. It has everything to do with confidence. Here is something very important to understand. An accent is not a sign of poor English. An accent is proof that you learned a second language. It shows effort. It shows experience. It shows courage. People with accents are not weak speakers. They are brave speakers. They think in one language and speak in another. That is not easy. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes practice. But fear can slow everything down. When you are afraid of your accent, you practice less. When you practice less, your speaking improves slowly. When improvement is slow, fear becomes stronger. This creates a cycle that feels impossible to escape. That is why today's episode is here. We are not here to remove your accent. We are not here to chase perfection. We are here to change the goal. The new goal is clarity and confidence. Clarity means people can understand you easily. Confidence means you allow yourself to speak even when your English is not perfect. You do not need perfect pronunciation to be clear. You do not need a native accent to be confident. What you need is calm speech, simple sentences, and trust in yourself. Many learners are surprised when they hear this, but most people are not listening to your accent as closely as you think. They are busy thinking about their own words. They care about the message, not the sound. In fact, many listeners respect people who speak English as a second language. They see effort. They see skill. They see someone who is trying. Confidence does not come after fluency. Confidence comes before fluency. When you allow yourself to speak, you improve. When you improve, confidence grows. This is how real fluency is built. Now let's talk about something practical. Many learners speak too fast because they feel nervous. When they start a sentence, they want to finish it quickly. They want to escape before making a mistake. As a result, words become unclear. Sounds mix together. Listeners need to work harder to understand. Speaking more slowly changes everything. When you slow down, your words become clearer. Your voice sounds calmer. You give yourself time to think. Slow speech sounds confident, not weak. Many strong speakers speak slowly. They pause. They breathe. They give important words more space. Another powerful habit is using simple sentences. Simple does not mean childish. Simple means easy to follow. Long and complex sentences often sound impressive in writing, but they can be confusing in speaking. Simple sentences travel better across accents. They help listeners understand you without effort. Word stress is also very important. In English, some words carry more meaning than others. Clear speakers make these important words stronger. They do not try to pronounce every sound perfectly. They focus on the key words that matter. When listeners catch the key words, they understand the message. Even if your accent is strong, communication still works. Many learners waste energy worrying about small pronunciation details. But most listeners do not care about small mistakes. They care about meaning. As we come to the end of this episode, remember this one simple idea. Your accent is not something to fix. It is something to accept. You do not need to erase where you come from to speak good English. You do not need to sound like a native speaker to be respected. What matters is clarity. What matters is confidence. What matters is that you allow yourself to speak. Fluency is not perfection. Fluency is freedom. Freedom to speak even when your sentence is not perfect. Freedom to pause, repeat, and continue. Freedom to use English as a tool, not as a test. Thank you so much for listening. Your voice belongs here. Keep practicing. Keep learning. And most importantly, keep believing in yourself. See you in the next episode.